throws it downfield. It is. Oh, it's caught.
CouchPotatoGM.com is the website. Couch Potato General Manager is the YouTube channel. You guys know it because you're on it. We're here to discuss 2021 storylines for the Atlanta Falcons. And I'm going to say it again. Disclosure. CPGM Hadley's team.
That's my team.
That's the team. That's the team. Just so y'all know.
Hey, you laughing? What's so funny? You just out here laughing, man.
Because it's funny. Okay, so my storyline for the Falcons is essentially Arthur Smith coming over from the Titans and coming in with the hard-nosed, going to hit you in the mouth type of football. They're gonna run the football or attempt to run the football, and do play action. And for me, this is going to be a wait and see thing for these guys. I actually do think they're going to be able to run the football. I love the back that they have there. And they got some guys that they can take shots with, whether it be Calvin Ridley or it be Kyle Pitts, the future Hall of Famer.
That's a Gator fan right there.
Disclosure.
But that's my big storyline too is the running game, because if the Falcons want to win games, you got rid of Julio Jones. Calvin Ridley is pretty much the only legitimate receiver. You got a Gage over there too. But it got to go through the run game. You brought Mike Davis from Carolina. I thought that was one of the better free agent pickups this offseason. And you brought over a blocking tight end in Lee Smith. You've been investing in the offensive line through the last couple seasons with Lindstrom, McGarry, Hennessy. You still have Jake Matthews over there. And you brought in Arthur Smith. This guy likes to play a lot of tight ends, so I expect a lot of 12 personnel. There's going to be some 13 personnel sometimes. Just watch. And they're going to try to run the ball and help their defense out, because the defense is probably the biggest weakness on the football team. They're getting better. You got some guys that's standing out, some young guys, but you're going to have to run the ball to protect them to win games this season for the Falcons.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to see what DPs gets out of this defense this year. And then
he's sending them.
Yeah, and in the coming years, I'm sure the Falcons will be placing more of an emphasis on getting more personnel on that side of the ball. For my storyline, I mean, you guys kind of foreshadowed it to a certain degree. Is this team going to be able to finish? The Falcons aren't an uncompetitive team. They haven't been non-competitive, right? They just can't seem to finish. They're not able to make that one or two additional plays necessary to come out on top. And that, to me, isn't just a matter of talent. It's a culture. It's a mindset. It's the way guys are being coached. It's the way the guys are preparing. You know what I'm saying? It's that focus from snap to snap. It's not because the opposition is just that much better than Atlanta. Like I said, they have been in most of these games, but for some reason they find ways to lose. So what I'm going to be looking at really heavily in terms of the Atlanta Falcons is whether or not they're actually able to finish games, salt games away. You mentioned Arthur Smith and his propensity to, get big in terms of his personnel on the offensive side of the ball and run the football. You help your defense out, shorten the game. You understand what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, you still got to get stops. You still got to be able to affect the passer in crunch time. Can the Falcons make enough plays to actually finish games?
Yeah, like you got to finish games. You got to be able to run the football. The Falcons haven't finished since 28-3 in that Super Bowl when Kyle Shanahan got pass happy. Ever since then, they haven't finished football games, man. It's been 2-3 years of that now. So, just a whole new mindset of running the football. We relied on Matt Ryan too much,
Sure.
Back in the days when Matt Ryan was successful, we had Michael Turner, Devontae Freeman. It was just the run game was heavily influenced, and then it kind of turned into like, hey, Matt Ryan, do something for us, save us with your arm.
Yeah.
But now I think it's going to transition more into the run game. I don't think the Falcons, they're going to be competitive. I don't know. They might make it playoffs, but I'm not really optimistic for the playoffs. But it's developing the run game, adding more pieces on defense. Maybe in 2 years or so, they'll be back at the top of the division when Tom Brady's retired. Yeah. Once Brady's gone, man, everyone's leaving. Everyone's leaving Tampa Bay.
Well, let me ask, where do they finish the division? I know you slipped in playoffs there, but realistically,
I got them last right now in the division. Okay. To be honest, I like what Carolina's doing. Right. New Orleans has some talent on the team, and the Bucs will probably be at the top. So I think they're at the bottom right now. Yeah.
I still think at least going into this season, I still think the Falcons have the second best quarterback in the division. I get it. Headley, you kind of talked about, what this team might look like in the next couple of years. Matt Ryan's probably not going to be a quarterback in the next couple of years.
Right.
So let's just, I understand we're talking about the storylines, but would you have drafted a quarterback this season?
Okay.
In other words, how much do you think Matt Ryan has in the tank?
That's what I'm saying. Why do you think Matt Ryan doesn't? I think Matt Ryan got like five more years in the NFL. Quarterbacks playing into their 40s now.
No, I understand that.
Yeah. So I'm just trying to figure out like the thought process of why Matt Ryan won't be there in a couple of years.
It's not just a matter of how long he's playing. It's how well you're playing, and then of course you have a new brain trust in there as far as the front office is concerned.
But I think they could have drafted Justin Fields. They could have drafted a lot of quarterbacks, but they seem to like Matt Ryan. I think the new brain trust likes Matt Ryan. I think Matt Ryan should be there for maybe 3, 4, 5 more years and, develop that defense and rely on the run game. So I don't see Matt Ryan going anywhere. I think if he was going to go somewhere, it could have been sooner rather than later. They would have drafted a quarterback maybe, but I think they still believe in Matt Ryan over there.
The only thing I'll say about that, I'm not necessarily disagreeing with you. I'm just playing devil's advocate here.
Mm-hmm.
Kyle Pitts was the top prospect in the draft for, I'm sure, quite a few teams, right? You kind of keep it in your back pocket in terms of being able to get that quarterback to extend your track record. Because again, if this team isn't ready to compete, if they're last in the division, right? You indicated that's where you have them right now. They're last in the division this year. Next year, because there's also the money concern, right?
Oh yeah.
Next year, they're third, fourth in the division. I can't imagine they're going to stick with Matt Ryan. You understand what I'm saying?
That makes sense. But if they're last in the division and they're a 5-win team, there's some quarterbacks right there. So maybe next year is where they pull the trigger on that quarterback. Yeah, I understand what you're saying. Yeah.
And they got to make sure the money right too, because if they were to trade Matt Ryan this year, or I think even next year, they're going to take a huge cap hit in terms of dead money. So
honestly, I think that is part of it. They may like Matt Ryan, but I think certainly their inability to the constraints his contract put on them is part of the reason why he's there. You know what I mean? And it's also part of the reason why Julio Jones isn't there.
Yeah. Yep. All right, Falcon fan, let us know down in the comments section. What's your storyline going into the 2021? Almost said off season into the regular season, and where do you have the Falcons finishing? CPGM Hadley said at the bottom. I tend to agree. I don't know what CPGM Juice is saying, but he gonna go ahead and jump on board.
He said he got the second best quarterback in the division. So
you do have the second best quarterback. I agree with that.
Maybe they get in the playoffs.
Wow,
It's a strong running game, improved defense, DMPs. We probably be the team to beat the Bucs in the playoffs.
Don't do that.
Y'all probably.
We beat them. Hey, we always split. We
do always split.
Regular season though. Regular season split that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, like, subscribe, comment.